Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We intend to begin the evening. And we are going to begin with a short video from our sponsors of the gala dinner this evening, DBS Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Good evening, everybody. Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Singapore, Mr. Teo Chee Hean, patron of IIMPact and former President of Singapore, Mr. S.R. Nathan, His Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner of India to Singapore, Dr. T.C.A. Raghavan, directors from the IIM Institutes, Provost of SMU, distinguished speakers, distinguished guests, distinguished alumni, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first Global IIM Alumni Meet. Welcome to the 6th IIMPact. Welcome to New Frontiers 2013. Let me begin with a story of a legendary Buddhist monk, Bodhidharma. Hailing from the Pallava kingdom in South India, Bodhidharma traveled to China in the 6th century, taking what was known as the Sea Silk Route. We can be sure that he must have dropped anchor in the island on which we now live. Bodhidharma introduced Chan, or Zen Buddhism, to China and founded the Shaolin Temple. And surely he was a great example of an Indian scholar opening up a new frontier. The term new frontier came into vogue in the 1960s when John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural address, and I paraphrase, said, We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats. No one understood this better, perhaps, than India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru. Years before JFK uttered those words, he had already embarked on his own new frontier, building the temples of a modern India. Not only did this embrace the dams and the steel plants, but his vision extended to setting up perhaps India's most famous global brands, the IITs and the IIMs. The first IIM was set up just over 50 years ago, and today, 50 years on, IIM alumni have conquered many frontiers all over the world. In corporate life, in public life, in academia, as entrepreneurs, as well as in non-conventional areas in music, in sport, in art, and literature. Many of you are gathered in this very room today, as we have seen this afternoon and we will continue to see today, in this evening, and tomorrow. It is this success in taking on and conquering new frontiers. It is this pioneering spirit of the IIM alumni that we are gathered here to celebrate at IIMPact 2013. Once again, welcome to New Frontiers 2013. I now welcome the chairman of the IIMPact Organizing Committee, Mr. Girija Pande, to address the gathering and formally invite our chief guest to speak.
Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, Mr. Teo Hian, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner of India, Dr. Raghavan, Mr. S.R. Nathan, 6th President of Singapore, our sponsors, our partners, distinguished guests, IIM alumni from far and near, speakers from overseas and Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our global IIM event, which we have been planning for the last 10 months. I would be remiss if I did not make a special mention of our gurus, the IIM directors from 7 of the 13 IIMs who've traveled here on the invitation of SMU, our knowledge partner, to share ideas on business education, and they had a session today in the morning with SMU and some of our distinguished IIM alumni. So warm welcome to all of you who have come here and really made this worth our while. We are really delighted at the overwhelming response that we have received from our alumni community, and I think it's the strength of the brand, from our speakers and our partners. We never imagined that we would be so fortunate to have nearly 750 delegates, 40 speakers from many parts of the world attend this meeting. So thank you all for the support and encouragement for being here today. So today I want to answer 4 questions that many people have asked us when we were organizing this, especially the members of the press, when we embarked on this project nearly 10 months ago. So why did we plan this global event in Singapore? After all, IIMs are Indian property. Why does brand IIM need to be globally recognized? What are the sub-themes of this conference that we have planned? And again, what does Singapore gain from the IIM alumni and vice versa? So let me attempt to answer these in brief. It all started in the Pan IIT conference last year, which was a great success, when Mr. S.R. Nathan, our patron, and someone who's given us a lot of encouragement, approached us to hold a similar, if not a bigger event for the IIMs, given that there are over 1,100 active and successful IIM alumni based in Singapore. He believed that Singapore should be showcased as a center for the Indian diaspora, especially the Indian professionals. I consulted my co-host Sanjeev Iyer and our battle-tested Pan IIM Organizing Committee, who had successfully hosted earlier events, but of course they were only for half a day. We were excited to take up the challenge to showcase the wide-ranging success of our IIM alumni and their contribution not just in business leadership, that we assumed many had done well, but also in other fields, and not only in India, but in the last decade, globally too. So why was Singapore chosen to host this global event, which has attracted over 750 delegates? Besides the fact that Singapore has a distinction of hosting one of the largest concentration of IIM alumni outside India, there were 1,100 in last count, we wanted to showcase Singapore as a hub for Indian business, especially Indian business which gravitates towards Asia with the growth of Asia. Singapore's fabled infrastructure, both soft and hard, its hosting of over 6,500 multinationals, and business-friendly government make it a manager's dream of setting up a business, especially if you were looking to grow in Asia. Moving on to brand IIM, after 50 years of its establishment, the awareness of IIMs outside India has largely been written on the back of the success of its globalized alumni. Clearly, to most of the 200,000 Indian students who annually take the dreaded CAT exam, which is the aptitude test, of which under 2% are selected. Normal Ivy League selection acceptances are 5 to 6%. And the legions of Indian and global businesses who often frustratingly vie for the day zero slot for recruitment at IIM. Brand IIM is certainly a household name in India. Its success has largely been due to a single-minded focus on meritocracy, which has allowed talented students, regardless from even the underprivileged backgrounds, to break the centuries-old barriers of caste, class, and economic deprivation. While the IIT brand rode on the back of successful alumni in Silicon Valley, brand IIM took a little longer to build, as its alumni took time climbing the corporate ladders in different parts of the world. Of course, many IIM graduates are IIT alumni as well. So there's a need to reposition the IIM brand as a purveyor of contemporary management thinking and excellence in global business. That is another reason we wanted to host this event outside India. Today, brand IIM reflects the composite success of alumni in both business and, as we will see later, in non-traditional areas across the world. Let me now turn to the event itself. We have divided our events into 5 parts, and you have just heard the scintillating performance of some of our entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, in the first session. You will now get to know those who have excelled in management thinking and management education. In fact, number of IIM alumni are respected deans and professors in prominent US business schools. Names of luminary alumni like Professor C.K. Prahlad come to mind, who many in the US have called one of the greatest contemporary management thinkers of our times. He was an IIM alumni. He opened the eyes of the world to core competence of companies and the opportunities he visualized at the bottom of the pyramid with frugal innovation, which changed the way corporations around the world looked at emerging market consumers. Our session now, this session, will be more formal. I think the entrepreneurial session was a little less formal, and it will focus on business leaders. We will hear the video messages from 2 of the most well-known IIM alumni, Mr. K.V. Kamath, chairman of ICICI and Infosys, and Mr. Ajay Banga, CEO of MasterCard. Although they could not make it here this evening, they were keen to share their thoughts with us, and so have sent a video message specially recorded for this event. Thereafter, we will hear from the panel of 4 CEOs whose names are well known in Singapore to all of you. Tomorrow's session starts off with the theme of Resurgent India and its subsequent role in Asia, and led by none other than our famous alumni, Dr. Raghuram Rajan, who unfortunately, as his flight is delayed, couldn't come in for this session. However, today IIMs are not only about training business leaders. Many alumni of the nearly 50,000 base of IIM alumni now, that's the estimate, have taken paths less traveled. They have become celebrated writers, musicians, NGOs, members of parliament, social entrepreneurs, and other innovators who have disrupted business models. They have used their business management learnings as a launching pad to conquer new frontiers. Some have struggled for years before achieving success in their non-traditional fields. At this event, we wanted to also showcase this unique pioneering spirit. So tomorrow post-lunch, we will hear the experience of successful alumni in some non-traditional fields. Of course, no Indian function is complete without Bollywood music. And even here, we are truly justified in representing it, as one of our own alumni has made a name even in this area. Whoever said IIMs were not creative. I would like to end by looking at what we think IIM alumni bring to Singapore and also gain from Singapore. As senior business leaders, they are well connected with their counterparts in Indian business and tend to know the contemporary Indian business scene very well. This insight will be most useful to Singapore businessmen who are looking to grow in India. And there is a pool of people who understand India very well. In addition, many of the IIM alumni are citizens and PRs here and are involved in giving back to society by supporting charities and non-profit organizations in their new home. The talent base of Singapore is undoubtedly enhanced by such a globally competitive alumni. In turn, the alumni too benefit from being based here in a global city, learn how well-known businesses conduct their operations in Asia. My own message to many of the young IIM alumni who are based here and settled here is to get involved in some of the community work to give back to society here as they grow their roots here. Indian businesses locating to Singapore will also benefit from IIM alumni network based in Singapore, some of whom have been here for over two decades. Furthermore, IIM alumni share some important and unique values with Singapore, that of meritocracy, global thinking, and the responsibility of business beyond commerce. We already have over 4,000 Indian companies based here and who are here to explore markets in Asia and use Singapore as a hub. As a past chairman of CII here, I recall witnessing a substantial growth of Indian companies in Singapore in the last decade. My own previous employer, the Tata Group, have over 12 companies here with over 3,000 staff in Singapore. And in effect, it is the international hub for the group. Many more companies will locate here. And I think they will find the advantage of the IIM alumni network. Singapore